up, guys? It's Pep Fernandez from the Inland Sports Show. Just a quick programming note. In the next couple of weeks and months, we're really going to put a focus on the Inland Sports YouTube channel. We got several thousand subscribers. We have over 1 million views. We're uploading new videos each and every week. So we're really going to point you guys, everyone who follows the Inland Sports Show, to the Inland Sports YouTube channel. We will still post on Instagram and Twitter. We're going to post a lot of pictures, maybe some shorter videos, but we really want to put an emphasis on the YouTube channel. So here's what we need from you guys. If you haven't done so already, make sure you are subscribed to the Inland Sports YouTube channel and give us a big thumbs up when you watch our videos. We'd really appreciate it. If you've subscribed, maybe tell your teammates, other kids at school, other coaches on your coaching staff, your parents, your grandparents. We'd really appreciate the more subscribers, the better. So subscribe and give us a like. And if you want to take it even further, there's now a thanks button at the bottom as well if you'd like to take your support to the next level and make a small donation so we can continue to bring you great sports coverage here in the Inland Empire. And what is up, everybody? Welcome to the Inland Sports Friday Night Football Recap. And I'll tell you right now, Week 7 of the high school football season was the wildest night we've had, I think, all season long. We had so many big games and so many crazy finishes. We're going to have highlights, I think, from, 9 different games. We might even get another game or two before we're done tonight. But again, as always, if we don't get it on tonight, we'll throw it on the Inland Sports YouTube channel whenever we get it. Maybe later tonight, maybe sometime throughout the weekend. But, man, we got some wild scores, some wild highlights. Norco versus Murrieta Valley, Patriot versus Hillcrest, Hemet versus Moreno Valley. All of those games going down to the wire. Elsinore and Orange Vista. It was unbelievable. What a crazy, crazy night. And I'll tell you this. The Boost Top 25 is going to look a lot different next week. Not just because of these big games that I just mentioned, but we had a lot of other games and scores and upsets coming in that you're about to see. We're going to show you the scores a little bit later in the show. It's going to have a real effect on our top 25 rankings, the Boost Top 25. So it's going to be, it was a big week. We've got some big games on the horizon next week, but the Boost Top 25 will look a lot different next week. All right, I'm going to stop rambling here. Let's get to the highlights. I'm fired up about this. I'm going to show you a piece of video, and this video is probably not going to do this game justice because Norco and Murrieta Valley hooked up in all those sports cliches. A game for the ages, a classic. A nail-biter, a thriller, the whole thing. It went back and forth. It was high scoring into the 70s. Unbelievable. So here's the deal. They go to overtime, and Murrieta Valley led by a score of 76-69. Norco scores a touchdown to make it 76-75. Nighthawks still on top by 1. Norco going for 2 points and the win. And here it is. Murrieta Valley and Norco. Kalani Kalewahea. Kalewahea punches in the 2-point conversion, and that is it. Norco wins 77-76 in overtime to beat the Nighthawks. And as you can see in that red end zone, that game going down in Murrieta Valley. Here's another look. Kalewahea going in for the score. In fact, I want to try to get this guy on the Inland Sports Show next week. Man, that was the game winner for Norco, and that was a huge game in the Big West Conference Upper Division. So, maybe outside of Centennial, we knew Norco versus Murrieta Valley was probably that next big game, and man, it lived up to the billing. And again, that one highlight does not do that game justice, but there was the finish. You saw the win as Norco wins by 1, again, 77 76 in overtime. What a huge win. And I'll have to say, the Boost Top 25, I'm just going to go out on a limb and say Norco is going to be up to number 2, but Murrieta Valley will probably keep them at 3 because that game could have went either way tonight. Congrats to Norco on that dramatic win. We had an equally dramatic game in Patriot versus Hillcrest. We're going to get to that in just a moment. We also had Hemet versus Moreno Valley. Now, we told you going into this week, week 7, I even tweeted this out, keep an eye on the Rain Cross Conference. All those games were like league title games. We're talking about the Ivy League, the Sun Belt League, and the Inland Valley League. In the Ivy League, it was Orange Vista and Elsinore. We got some highlights on that we're going to show you in a second. And in the Sun Belt League, it was Vista del Lago and Paloma Valley. And it was Paloma Valley coming back and winning towards the end of that game, 37-30. So that was a great game. And then Hemet and Moreno Valley going down to the wire to the final possession. So that Hemet versus Moreno Valley game was a 1-point game. And so was Orange Vista and Elsinore. So 2 of those 3 Rain Cross games were decided by 1 point. Just crazy games. All right, so you got some highlights of Hemet taking on Moval. There's Jeff Galloway sending in the calls, and we'll pick things up in the third quarter in this one. Draven Lopez to Orion Hudson, touchdown Bulldogs. Hemet takes a 15-14 lead on Moval, but the Vikings were down, but they were not out. Just down by 1. Quarterback Adonis Hill finds Tron Henderson. Vikings are on the move, but on this play here, the Vikings would fumble the football. Pops out right there, and Hemet recovers. Ball goes back to the Bulldogs. So, Lopez goes back to the air, finds Tyler Trout. No relation to Mike Trout, I don't think, at least. Maybe he is. Trout with the big pickup, the yak. Yards after the catch there. But now, same drive on 4th down in the 4th quarter. Lopez rolling out. And he finds, he doesn't find his man. That is an interception. Cajon Pryor of the Vikings with a big pick in the end zone. So now, Moval on offense, and here comes Adonis Hill. Big time run by Hill, deep into Hemet territory. This one's going all the way, almost, but down to the 5-yard line for Adonis Hill. But that would set up this. It's A.J. Anderson, a.k.a. Adrian Anderson, in for the touchdown for Moreno Valley. The Vikings set sail on the touchdown drive, and they take the 20-15 lead. Remember that score. Now let's go back to the Hemet Bulldogs on offense. Still time in the 4th quarter for them. Lopez to Trout. Snags that, and that's at the 20-yard line. Here come the Bulldogs on the move. 4th down now for Hemet, going to the end zone, and it's incomplete. The Bulldogs come up empty, but the Hemet defense would get a stop, and they get the football back with about a minute and a half to go, and here we go. Here it is. It's Hudson. Lopez to Hudson on the big gain. Now this time trying to go to the end zone. Pass interference. The Hemet drive lives on with the PI. So here we go with under a minute to play. It's going to be Lopez to Dennis Olguin in the corner right there. He's in there for the touchdown, and that makes it 20-20. So Hemet still needs the extra point to win the game. So let's roll them out. Oh yeah, chest bumps all the way around. So let's roll out the kicker. The big extra point coming up for the Bulldogs to put them in the lead and essentially give them the win. And the extra point would be all good, splitting the uprights. So Hemet goes up 21-20. But Moval had, I think it was about 40 seconds left in this one. And Adonis Hill had his team on the move around midfield, but this is how this game ends. Broken up. And the catch, the reception there, but nothing after the catch. And Hemet wins 21-20. So now the Bulldogs are in the driver's seat to win the Inland Valley League title. That was a huge road win against Moreno Valley. So that, as we mentioned, was in the Inland Valley League. In the Ivy League, also a 1-point game. And it was really the Mackay Skinner show. Skinner doing it for Elsinore against Orange Vista in this game. Skinner had 3 touchdowns, and nearly 200 rushing yards, and most of that came very early on in this game as Orange Vista comes up short, losing their first ball game of the season, 23-22 the final. Skinner with 3 touchdowns for the Elsinore Tigers. So now Elsinore is the team to beat in the Ivy League, man. What a wild game that was. It was Elsinore racing out to the lead, and Orange Vista with a furious comeback to make it close. But Elsinore getting the win tonight. Let me pull up my scores here. We're going to keep it in the Ivy League. Rancho Verde and JW North. Now, I said this before, and I'll say it again. I said it on Riverside TV, and I still got my shirt on here because we had the Norte Vista versus Arlington game live tonight. But I said this, that JW North, depending on what division they get in, if they make the playoffs, could be this year's version of Arlington. Remember, last year Arlington 0-7 to start the year. They win a couple games at the end. They use a coin toss to get into the playoffs, and then they run off and win a CIF Southern Section title and get to a state title game. I think North's got a lot of talent, but they got to get into the playoffs first. So North taking on Rancho Verde, and this would be a big game because North and Rancho Verde still has a chance to do well in Ivy League play and still make the playoffs. So this was a big game in Ivy League play. There is OP Vaipulu on the left, Eric Zomo on the right, couple OGs right there, 2 of our favorite here on the Inland Sports Show. Beautiful night out there at 3rd and Chicago. So let's go to the highlights in this one, and here come the Huskies, come flying out. And we start with them on offense. And credit to Rancho Verde's defense, man. They came flying out as well, causing the fumble here on the first offensive possession for JW North. So they get the football back, and they would capitalize. They would turn that into points. Check out Dylan Riley, the running back for the Mustangs, gets loose, and he's gone. 62 yards on the scoring scamper for Dylan Riley. And it was Rancho Verde taking the lead 6-0 on JW North. So now we join the Huskies going on offense. And it's going to be quarterback Cameron Shannon. He's going to find his man. Keep an eye on number 4, Brian Butler. Butler catches it, gets around one man, and he's getting a little help. And down the sideline he goes. Nobody's going to get him. Butler in for the touchdown to get the extra point, and that would also give JW North the lead, 7-6 at that point. So now it's going to be more North on their next offensive drive. It's Keith Furha. Furha in for the touchdown there for JW North. And that lead is extended to 14-6. And that was in the second quarter. So JW North now got the lead. Now they're going to play some defense and try to hold on to that lead. And on this play, it's going to be Aiden Veasley and Sione Tupou. Tupou and Veasley combining on the big stop there. So now we go back on North. And offense is going to be Shannon to Dylan Butcher, but the Huskies would come up empty on that drive. Damian Ayala could have had a touchdown, man. He is such a great player, but could have had a touchdown on one of those plays that we did not see. We did see that. Big Christian Wilson making a huge stop, man. That guy plays physical, big number 99. Then Sione Tupou, he comes up with another big stop for JW North. And how about this play? This is weird, man. Number 51, Andrew Mosqueda, is going to tip this pass. And number 99, Wilson, comes down with the interception. Some love for the big man. He had a huge game, plus the pick right there, as North goes on to win against Rancho Verde. Final score of 35-25, the final in that one. All right, now let's get to another crazy game. It was Patriot and Hillcrest on Riverside TV. And I told you week 7 was nuts. We saw Norco and Murrieta Valley already. We saw Hemet and Moreno Valley. This game was probably the other really, really crazy one that was bananas. Pick up in the third quarter, Patriot on top. And they're about to punch in another touchdown. Disregard that lower third graphic right there because that's Isaiah Miramontes going in for the touchdown there for Patriot, extending their lead on Hillcrest. And here's another touchdown later in the third quarter. So it was a 34-28 at that point. And here comes Brandon Lopez, big stiff arm to get into the end zone. So Patriot building a nice lead, nice and comfortable right late in the game. But here comes Hillcrest. Hillcrest was down by 20 at one point in the second half. Matt Klein in for the touchdown with less than 4 minutes to play in this game. That makes it 41-35. 7 seconds on the clock. And here comes Hillcrest. It's going to be Flores to Zobeda. I gotta get his name right. Let's see. It was number 17. It was Brandon Zabados for the touchdown there for Hillcrest. They would add the extra point, and that would be the difference. That would tie the game at 41. The extra point made it 42, and it was 42-41 final. Hillcrest erasing that 20-point hole to come back and beat Patriot in a huge River Valley League game. Of course, right now, that collision course has Ramona and Norte Vista going head-to-head in Week 9, which will probably be the league championship. But this was a huge game in terms of trying to get a playoff spot, and that was a big win for Travis Carter and Hillcrest. But don't count out Patriot. We still have several more weeks of the regular season, and Patriot is a very, very good team. I would not be surprised if they get into the playoffs as well. All right, speaking of the River Valley League, again, Norte Vista and Ramona will play in week number 9. So not this coming week, but the following week. And that is shaping up to be your league championship game. And we've talked about Ramona quite a bit this year and how good they are, but Norte Vista really coming on strong, winning their 6th consecutive game this season. They dropped their opener against Hesperia, and it's been nothing but good stuff for the Braves ever since then, and they have been on a roll. They have gotten better week by week. I think that was Dreddy Elaine, the freshman, a.k.a. The Roadrunner, with that big run. And then it's going to be Demarion Richardson. Richardson had a couple touchdowns in this game for Norte Vista. Touchdown there as he makes his way back to the sideline. He had a career-high 3 touchdowns in a win earlier this season against Redlands. He had 2 very early touchdowns for Norte Vista. I thought he was going to break his career mark, but 2 in the game. Here comes Richardson. Big run almost into the camera there as Norte Vista was on the move. He did the work, but he did not get paid because they're going to give it to the big fella. Naaman Iosefa. Iosefa in for the touchdown there for Norte Vista. Luke Rogers had a big touchdown for Arlington to open up the scoring. And it was basically all Norte Vista after that. Although on that play, Norte Vista had the ball. They fumbled it. Arlington got it back a couple plays later. They get into field goal territory. They boot the 3. And it was kind of a close game at halftime. It was, I believe, 23-10 at the break, a 13-point game. So to the third quarter, here comes Richardson. Oh, it's kind of like a magnet to the camera, coming right back at the camera as Norte Vista was driving once again. And that would set up this touchdown for the Braves from about the 5 or 6 yard line. Rolling out on the old bootleg, that's Dominic Johnson, the quarterback. He goes in for the score for Norte Vista as the Braves, again, kind of tight in the first half, but they would begin to pull away in the second half. They would eventually rattle off a big win in this one. We just saw Dominic Johnson, and here is Jaden Henderson, a freshman. I'm not sure what they list his height, but he's probably 5'2", 5'3". He's a little guy. There he is, number 15, and only a freshman. So they got a couple great freshman running backs for Norte Vista, so they're going to be in good shape for years to come. And more from Novi's ground game. Eli Martinez, he goes in for another score for Norte Vista. 49-10 the final score. Norte Vista wins big against Arlington tonight. So, again, they are on a roll. They're doing a lot of things well. They're running the football well. Not a big shock. And, again, in 2 weeks, that huge game coming up with Ramona. I know you can't look past anybody, but let's call a spade a spade. Ramona versus Novi is going to be a big game coming up in a couple of weeks. 49-10 the win tonight for the Braves. All right, let's see. Our Ken Sporting Goods must-see game this week, Cajon versus Citrus Valley. And it was the Cowboys with a dominant win, 28-7 tonight. The offense was good, but the Cajon defense was absolutely great. They held quarterback Hunter Herrera, I think it was like 60 yards passing. The rushing yards were bleak. They had hardly any. That Cajon defense was really flying around. And my guy Carl was at the game. He said it was one of the hardest hitting physical games he has ever seen. Again, featuring 2 of the top teams in the Inland Sports Show coverage area. And here's a play that's indicative of this kind of game. Jaquan Smith lined up at running back for Cajon. He's going to take a huge hit. He goes flying in the air, and his helmet pops off, and his teammate catches it. We're going to slow it down. You can see it one more time. But again, Cajon wins 28-7 in a very physical game with Citrus Valley, and it was the defense leading the way for the Cowboys tonight. Cajon, 6-1 on the season, and their only setback was that 1-point loss to Williams Field from Gilbert, Arizona. We keep harping back on that, but Cajon now should run the table and win their 6th straight Citrus Belt League champion. I know we do not crown league champions in Week 7, but that Cajon versus Citrus Valley game was the one that everyone kind of circled on that calendar, right? And just being clear there. So I know they still got Beaumont. That Beaumont's tough, but Cajon versus Citrus Valley was that game a lot of people were looking at, which could be a difference maker in terms of crowning a CBL champion. But it looks like the Cowboys are on pace now for 6 straight league titles. All right, moving on to the Mountain Valley League. We're going to get to the scores in a second, but real quick, spoiler alert, Rubidoux scored a touchdown with 14 seconds left in the game to beat A.B. Miller 23-19. A.B. Miller was your reigning Mountain Valley League champion, and now, when all the dust settles, the favorite is probably Indian Springs. I know my buddy, head coach Chris Chaddick, he's too modest, he's too humble to say it, but I'll say it. Indian Springs looks like the team to beat now in terms of that Mountain Valley League championship. The Coyotes still have some tough games in front of them, and I know Coach Chaddick will have his guys prepared. But in my own estimate, Indian Springs looks like that team to beat, thanks to Rubidoux taking care of business against A.B. Miller tonight. Now, could San Bernardino still be in the hunt? Well, maybe. San Bernardino did lose head-to-head to Indian Springs, but they got a big win against Supa Dupa Harupa Valley. That's the Possum, George Jones. Where's my country music fans at? Jones goes in for the touchdown there for San Bernardino Cardinal City. And then a lot of Xavier Alvarez, that talented QB for the Cards. He gets in. Lil Zay in for the score. That makes it 12-8 at that point. San Bernardino and the Jaguars. And check out this bizarre play. San Bernardino pinned up near their own goal line. There is Jones, takes the toss, almost got tackled there, almost got tackled again, and there he goes down the sideline. Oh my goodness. Jones, he's got a lot of speed, but it looks like he slows down just a little bit. I'd get tired too. I don't blame the guy. Gets pulled down around the 5-yard line. It would set up a San Bernardino touchdown. Then later in the game, 4th quarter, Alvarez the completion down to about the pylon. That would set up this. Alvarez, Lil Zay, touchdown run for Cardinal City. And that was 26-20 at that point. And then that would make it 32-20 the final score. San Bernardino wins, beating Supa Dupa Harupa Valley. So, Indian Springs can control their own destiny at this point. So we'll see what happens now in the final couple weeks of Mountain Valley League play. All we know now is the reigning champion, A.B. Miller, suffering a loss tonight against Rubidoux, 23-19 the final score. And again, we'll go over some of the scores in just a moment. I think we got one more game. Oh yeah, Notre Dame and Arroyo Valley in Skyline League action. Let's do this thing. My guy, Carlos Yakimovich, out there covering the game. Carlos, give him a follow. He's all over Instagram. It's my boy Carlos. Okay, here we go to the highlights. And first we start with Notre Dame. Set up inside the 10. It's going to be DeMar Robinson. There he is. Sheds off a tackler. Leans across the goal line. He's going to lean in for the score. And Notre Dame is on the scoreboard first. Then it's going to be Arroyo Valley trying to match that Notre Dame touchdown. Wanye Morris. Get to know him. Morris, where's he at? There he is around the left side and in for the Arroyo Valley touchdown. A little back and forth here in the first half. I think Arroyo Valley might be a second half team, but back and forth in the first half. That was Morris with the touchdown, and this time it's going to be Ronald Weathers. There he is. He's coming right at you. He beats a couple tacklers, and Weathers goes in for the score there for Arroyo Valley. We'll finish up with a couple of Notre Dame highlights here. Coming up, it's going to be Robinson. You saw DeMar Robinson score a touchdown for the Titans. Also flying around on defense. Big hit right there by Robinson. And this guy, one of my favorites, Julian Mercado, taking it to the market. Market, see what I'm doing there? Julian Mercado, the touchdown for Notre Dame. But Again, kind of a close game in the first half, but Arroyo Valley pulling away in the second half. They win 40-22 in Skyline League play, part of that Arrowhead Athletic Conference. All right, so I think that's all the games. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 games in all. We just ran through very, very quickly. And if we get any more highlights tonight, we will definitely throw them on the Inland Sports YouTube channel. It's just another great reason to hit that subscribe button for us. We'd really appreciate it. And give this video a like. All right, I'm going to open up the live chat because I want to see if some of these scores that we're missing, maybe you guys have them out there. Again, we did Arlington versus Norte Vista on Riverside TV tonight. So we broadcast live games. I'm a little late coming back and getting the scores and the highlights in. So some of these scores, some of these highlights, I'm seeing for the first time, just like you guys. So let's go to it. And this is what we have. Let's see. Let's start with the CBL scores. Cajon over Citrus Valley, 28-7. I told you, big win for the Cowboys there. Yucaipa coming on strong, man. The T-Birds. Talk about Norte Vista getting better as the season goes. So is Yucaipa. 41-7 against Redlands. Norco won better than Murrieta Valley in overtime. 77-76 in a game for the ages. They're going to write books about this game one day. We showed you that game-winning 2-point conversion from Kalani Kalawahea. And again, what a wild win for Norco in Big West Upper Division play. Santiago, what a win for the Sharks against King. Jason McMahon's in King. That's a very good team. So that makes that win for the Sharks look even better. Great Oak blanking Corona tonight, 49-0 the final score. Murrieta Mesa, Temecula Valley, I have not seen that score yet, to be honest. So if you have that score out there, please hit me up. I got the live chat open right now. Vista Murrieta and Chaparral. This was another wild win. On any other night, without these crazy games with Norco Murrieta Valley, Hemet and Moreno Valley, Patriot and Hillcrest, this game probably would have been the first thing we mentioned. Chaparral beating Vista Murrieta 28-20. And I'll be honest, some people on social media were saying maybe Chaparral's not that good. Well, guess what? Now you know the Pumas are legit. That's a very good Vista Murrieta team. That's a huge win for Coach Andrew Raymer and the guys. Congrats to them. Carter and Jurupa Hills, as we make our way to the Arrowhead Athletic Conference, did not see a final score on this one, but the last I saw, Jurupa Hills was up big, so I'm assuming Jurupa Hills won that game. Moving along, Rim of the World and Kaiser. Kaiser led 21-0 at one point. Rim of the World battled back to make this thing interesting, but the Cats hold on. 21-14, the final score. They make that 21-point lead at halftime stand up against the Fighting Scots, and Jonathan Marshall had himself a ball game. 23 carries, 239 yards, and 2 touchdowns to lead the Kaiser Cats. And again, they're still missing Kyle Tyler, who's a big-time running back. But they're just trying to weather the storm, stay the course, right? And in time to maybe compete for a league championship in the Sunkiss League and make a playoff run. Grand Terrace and Eisenhower. I have not seen that final score either, although I did see a score at one point, and Grand Terrace was leading Eisenhower. The Eagles have an undefeated season going without counting what happened tonight. So if you guys have a final score, hit me up. Let's see. Bloomington and Fontana, Faux High, the Steelers winning by 2 against the Bruins, 32-30 the final score there. Rialto beating Colton, 27-16. Heritage Christian and Aquinas, and I think it was homecoming out there for the Falcons. Big win, 56-6 the final score, as Aquinas should win the Ironwood League. And they should cruise at this point, in my own estimate. To the Mesquite League, right? One of those new leagues. Linfield Christian, 20 better than Arrowhead Christian, 34-13 the final score. 21 better. Got to do some math over here. Nice win for Deshaun Burns and the Lions. Rubidoux and A.B. Miller, we told you that one. A.B. Miller falling tonight. Congrats to Pat Thompson and those guys out there at the Doe. Norte Vista beating Arlington on Riverside TV. Hillcrest coming back from nearly 3 touchdowns down to beat Patriot. Liberty blanks Citrus Hill 40-0, and I believe Liberty, the Bison, were on top 40-0 at halftime. So they just took their foot off the gas in the second half and rolled to that win. San Jacinto and Tockwitz, man. Tockwitz is pretty good, and we knew they could put points on the board. They really came through and pushed San Jack tonight, but the Tigers hold on. 55-48 the final there. So now that sets up the big one next week. The Jack and Liberty head-to-head. That's probably your Mountain Pass League title, right? Who's going to argue against that? So that's a big game next week. West Valley still rolling along. Nice win against Paris, 21-12. Haven't seen Banning versus Cat City. In Valley View, congrats to the Eagles getting the win tonight, their first league win against Canyon Springs. Kind of rivalry game there as well. 21-14 the final score. So congrats to the Valley View Eagles getting it done. Head coach Pete Smolin does such a great job finally seeing some wins coming to fruition there for Valley View. All right, let's see. I think that's going to do it for us here on our Friday Night Football recap. Again, highlights from 9 different games, as many scores as we could collect by 11:05 p.m. Anything else we get in, we will put on the Inland Sports YouTube channel. Make sure you are subscribed to the channel. We'd really appreciate it. Make sure you like this video. And on all of the Inland Sports videos, we do have a thanks button. So if you'd like to throw a couple bucks our way to support local sports and support what we do to cover local sports, we'd really appreciate that as well. And again, just a quick programming note. The Boost Top 25 is probably going to have some significant changes next week. Maybe nothing super dramatic, but we're going to see a lot of teams moving up or moving down because we had so many big wins this week, close games, and man, it was just, again, probably the best week of high school football we have seen all season long. It was absolutely fantastic. All right, guys, that's going to do it. I am going to wrap things up here, but make sure, again, you check back with the Inland Sports YouTube channel all weekend long for additional highlights. And then also Sunday night and into Monday, we'll have our Week 7 All-Stars, our Boost Top 25, our Big Boost Play of the Week, our Ken Sporting Goods must-see game, and, of course, our top games coming up in Week 8 of the football season. Oh, you guys are the best. I'm seeing some scores right now. Grand Terrace, 14-6 over Ike. Thank you, Coach Martinez. Hit me up in the live chat. Really appreciate that. And that's a big win for Grand Terrace and the first loss for Ike on the season. So, again, another game that's going to affect the rankings. And from my boy Buck Fields, oh, man, this is another game that's going to affect the Boost Top 25. Assuming this is correct, if I'm reading this right, my eyes are sometimes playing tricks on me. 10-7, Murrieta Mesa beating Temecula Valley by 3. Wow, Murrieta Mesa 10-7 over Temecula Valley, and with Santiago beating King tonight and Mesa beating Temecula Valley, Murrieta Mesa now is in the driver's seat to win that Big West Lower Division Championship, man. What a crazy, this was already a crazy night, and then we got these games. It's just unbelievable. So what a crazy night. I'm going to wrap up this broadcast, digest everything that just happened. I'll be updating the Inland Sports website, and those rankings come next week. Wow, I don't even know where to start. Centennial's number 1. Norco's 2, Murrieta Valley's probably still 3, Cajon at 4, and then after that, everything is up in the air. I mean, I have no idea even what to think now. Let's see. Now you guys are asking me some questions. See, here's the deal, too. I could do this all night long. I could talk high school football all night long. Junior Hernandez, what CIF division do you see Ramona being in? If Ramona goes 9-1 and wins the River Valley League Championship, I could see them being in Division 6 or 7 if I was going to guess. If they lose, let's say they lose the Norte Vista, they go 8-2 and finish in second place, I'd say maybe like 8, something like that, Division 8 if I was going to guess. I really appreciate it, Junior. Thanks for asking that question because I'm just like you. I'm starting to think about, okay, who's going to be in what division? come playoff time, because that new CIF format, if you guys aren't familiar with it, we don't know until the end of the regular season what teams where they're going to be placed in what division. So it's very, very crazy. Unless you're like Centennial and you're going in Division One or something like that, you just it's hard to say. Let's see. Oh, another great score. Jurupa Hills 53-12, big win for them tonight. Jurupa Hills, I would classify them as like Yucaipa and Norte Vista, that they are getting better as the season goes along. So they're going to be a tough out for somebody as we get closer to crowning a Sunkist League champion, because we got Jurupa Hills, we got Summit, we got Kaiser. In fact, Summit and Kaiser are playing next week. That's going to be a huge game. I know Coach Matheny and Coach Cardosi, both great guys, fantastic coaches. That's going to be a fantastic game, and we'll see if Kaiser's going to be full strength. Kyle Tyler has been out for several weeks now, and he's one of the top running backs in our area. If you guys have any other question, last call. I appreciate you guys watching tonight. Hit me up. Yeah, one for the Doughboys. Big win against A.B. Miller. Shout out to the Valley View Eagles. That was a big win against Canyon Springs. A rivalry game, too, against the Cougars. Elsinore, man. Elsinore's going to be hard to rank. Elsinore beating Orange Vista, who I don't have the rankings in front of me, but I think Orange Vista was like 7 and undefeated. So where do you put Elsinore? Do you put them in the top 10 or close to the top 10? Like, again, the rankings are going to look so different next week. I'm pretty fired up about it. And thank you guys for the scores I did not have. Thank you for hitting me up. I'm going to go update the Inland Sports website as soon as we finish here. Junior Hernandez and Ramona easily winning the River Valley League. Listen, I don't think, Junior, I'm not going to argue against you, man. Ramona is definitely the favorite, at least in my book. And I think if you ask most people, they would say Ramona is the favorite. They are loaded. But Norte Vista, it's not pretty. They grind it out. They run the football, those long time-consuming drives, keeping the other team's offense off the field. They're going to have to obviously do that to have a chance to beat Ramona. If it gets into a shootout, they're going to fight fire with fire. That might not go well for Norte Vista, trying to outscore Ramona. That might not go well. But if they have long time-consuming drives, they don't turn over the football. If they have 8, 9, 10-minute drives and, 4 or 5 yards a carry all the way down the field, then that game could be very, very close. So we will see. Let's see. Anything else? Thoughts on Aquinas. Aquinas is really good. And again, they won the CIF Southern Section Division 7 championship last year. They're going to win the Ironwood League. What playoff division do I think they would be in? They played a very tough non-league schedule, and they beat some good teams. Maybe 6 or 7 again, I would say, for Aquinas. Maybe I would say 6. I'm going to go out on a limb and say 6 for Aquinas. If I had to guess right now. Let's see. Coke or Pepsi? Definitely Coke. You're awesome. Was it Pyro Fluffy 951? I'm definitely a Coke guy. I will drink Pepsi if it's all I have, but I'm definitely a Coke guy. Coach Agno, what's up, man? He's my Star Wars nerd, my Marvel nerd. See you at OC. Was that Ontario Christian? Maybe. Ontario Christian's pretty good. They're coming on strong too. The Knights. So maybe that could be a big game. That might be Aquinas's toughest challenger in the old Ironwood League. Norte Vista allowed 28 points versus La Sierra. That's true. That's true, Junior. They sure did. Ramona is putting up 42 plus on Novi. Again, that's week 9, so not next week, but the week after. Ramona versus Norte Vista in the River Valley League. Wonder Boy, Valley View is peaking at the right time. Now listen, if you're a follower of Inland Sports and you go all the way back to the start of the season, we predicted league champions for all the leagues. I'll tell you what, some of the leagues we nailed it, but they were kind of easy. And some of the other leagues we whiffed. And one of them, I would say all of the leagues in the Rain Cross Conference were tough to call. The Ivy League, the Sun Belt League, and the Inland Valley League. And if I remember right, in the Inland Valley League, I think we had Valley View winning it. I could be wrong, but I think we had Valley View winning it. And right now, Hemet with that big win against Moval, Hemet looks like the team to beat now. So we'll see what happens. But again, 3 weeks still to go in the regular season. So it's going to be a lot of fun. Some of these leagues feel like they're foregone conclusions. Like right now in the CBL, it feels like Cajon's going to win it. Centennial, the Big West upper. There's maybe Murrieta Mesa now in the Big West lower. That was a huge win for the Rams tonight against Temecula Valley. Shout out to them. So some of these leagues seem like foregone conclusions, but some of these leagues are going to come down to the end. It's going to be a lot of fun. All right, let me look at the live chat one more time. Modern day St. John Bosco game, though. Yeah, you're right, Pyro Fluffy. I didn't see a lot of it. I just saw the final score, Modern Day 17-7 against St. John Bosco. So Modern Day looks good. I mean, that was a 10-point win against Bosco. We saw Modern Day against Centennial, not a couple weeks ago, but, in non-league play. So several months ago, it feels like now. So, and Centennial lost, I think it was by 30, was it 34? So if Centennial's going to see one of those teams in the semifinals, it sure looks like Bosco now. Because if you're seeding teams, it'll probably be Modern Day the 1, Bosco the 2, Centennial the 3 in Division 1. So that would mean Bosco and Centennial in the semis. The winner of that one would play Modern Day in that championship game. And that was a nationally televised game, Bosco and Modern Day, on Bally Sports. So it was not just here in Southern California, but it was like a nationally televised game on all those Bally Sports networks. So unbelievable. Would I love to see Centennial get another crack at one of those teams? Of course I do. Especially going back to last year. I hate to just ramble here, but Centennial coulda, shoulda, woulda beat Modern Day in the semifinals last year. And I'd love to see the Huskies get another crack at one of those teams. Looks like Bosco now after Modern Day winning tonight. All right, guys, let's see. If that's it, then that's it for me too, man. I am going to go watch some highlights of the baseball playoffs that were from today, the Major League Baseball playoffs. I'm a Mets fan, so I know they lost to the Padres, but that's all I know. And I'm going to see some highlights and figure out what happened. All I know is Jacob deGrom is going to start Game 2, so you can pencil in that W for the Amazings, hopefully. But yeah, I'm a Mets fan, and hopefully they get past the Padres. I'm sure some of you guys are Padre fans out there. So anyways, so we're going to wrap it up. Again, throughout the weekend, we'll be posting new content to the Inland Sports YouTube channel. All the regular stuff, the rankings, the top games, the play of the week, our Inland Sports All-Stars. And, Eric says the Mets. Yeah, the Mets. Ever since I was a little kid, Darryl Strawberry was my favorite player. In fact, I could probably go to my room right now and grab, 1, 2, 3... I've got at least 5 Mets shirts, and 3 of them are Darryl Strawberry. In fact, maybe I'll wear one next week. I'll wear one of my Darryl Strawberry shirts. I got 3 of them. One of them is just like, it looks like a jersey. It says Strawberry number 18. And actually 2 of them are from when I was a kid, like in junior high or high school, Darryl Strawberry on my t-shirt. So yeah, that was a long time ago. So anyways, that's going to do it here. Thank you guys for watching. I know it's almost midnight. 42 of you are still on with us. I really do appreciate it. We love high school football. We love talking about it. If you guys got questions, I love going back and forth. I love your guys' comments. I love your questions, whether it's here on the live chat or on social media. I know a lot of you are following Inland Sports on the gram and on Twitter. We still do a lot of Facebook, but not really. We're mostly hanging out on Twitter and Instagram. And, of course, the Inland Sports YouTube channel is where we're trying to point everybody to all of our content, a lot of the shows and the video highlights. So, all right, guys, that's going to do it for me. My name is Pep Fernandez. Thank you guys so much. I hope you have a great weekend. Monday is a holiday for a lot of us, so I hope you enjoy a 3-day weekend, and we will see you next week, week number 8 of the high school football season. We'll see you guys. Have a great night.